I can surround myself with people that are better than me at something, then it's going to heighten my abilities, right? It's going to take me up a notch. My grandfather used to tell me, if you are the smartest one in the room, find a new room.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, here we are. We are live with the Provoke Coach podcast. I'm so happy that everybody is here. We are into season 3, and I have with me a special guest. Wow, strap in tight. We have somebody that is a fast mover in almost everything that they do. Somebody that I love to call my friend. I mean, I can clearly remember having one-on-one conversations with this guy when we were both working together in corporate America, just absolutely kicking ass. And now he is even getting faster and moving quicker. I have with us a very special guest, Mr. Buddy Hall. Thank you so much for showing up today to the Provoke Coach podcast.
Thanks, Clinton. Appreciate you having me, man. And you know, I was listening to your intro, and it says if you're the smartest guy in the room, you better leave. Well, I'm the only guy in here. Do I have permission to stay? Do I have permission to stay?
Absolutely, absolutely. You know, it's always amazing when we can still connect after really being, and sometimes competition and sometimes working in the same company, striving for the same things. It's amazing what not only you were able to do in that realm, but now what you've done afterwards. So a lot of people don't know who you are, Buddy. If you could just kind of tell us, what is Buddy doing right now, present day? And then we'll get on to some other things, I guess, in the future. And then, of course, what brought you to this point as well.
I appreciate that, Clinton. So my name is Buddy Hall. I am the owner of Vertex Roofing and General Contractors, Vertex NRG, Campers Life Superstore, and Buddy Hall Racing. And that's what I'm doing right now. And that's plenty enough. I've bitten off probably a little bit more than I can chew, but that's how we do it. So anyway.
Yeah, it's fantastic. And I mean, we're going to get into kind of each one of those things and, really kind of expand on each one of those, real topics. But you're a business owner, and you're a multiple business owner. You're what is called really a serial entrepreneur, if you will. And it's always interesting. I'm always looking to maybe record the pre-podcast sometimes, because it's always the best conversations. And you said something that was interesting, is you said to diversify, where not only you spend your money, but your time and your efforts. Can you kind of elaborate on that? Why are you doing multiple things right now?
Well, I'm a student. I may be a leader, I may be an owner, but I do my best to always remain a student in business and a student life. And I've seen others make a mistake that I would consider a fatal error. and it's doing very well in one business or one realm of business and failing to diversify throughout. And so in doing so, the failures that I've seen along the way are if one thing goes wrong in that one business or something changes about that industry, they can't pivot quickly enough to continue on with their overall success. So what they've done is they've pigeonholed themselves in a situation in which that's the only thing they have to count on. And so over the years, I've pinched every penny that I've had. I've tried to be very smart with my money and take good money advice and earn money with my money. And it's a time in my life to diversify. And so Vertex Roofing and General Contractors was my first big venture. And then we saw immediate success in that, and we continue to see it. But as soon as we were at a level in which I felt comfortable with venturing out and I had some leadership involved in which I could take a slight step away and focus on other things, I immediately diversified and opened up two other businesses. So I don't want to make the mistake others make.
Yeah, and it's funny that you say that. I guess there's the old saying, putting all your eggs in one basket. Yeah. You see that, and you saw a little bit of that, I guess, with the scramble of the pandemic and in COVID, to where it's like, oh shit, what do I do now? Like, here, if you had a tourism company, guess what? You're not going anywhere. Nobody's going anywhere. What happened? What do you do? And then they're doing odds and ends things. Like, how did you see that, I guess, before that became a challenge?
So, I believe that I worked in the ultimate industry to prepare me for any business venture that I go on. And let me go deeper. I worked in the health club industry for 2 decades. I started at a very young age. I started working at a YMCA when I was 15 years old. And I stayed in the industry all up until I was 36 years old. So all those years, those 21 years taught me that, there's going to be things that change. Seasons change, which affect the business. I went through 2 recessions while in that business. I worked in 27 different markets in that business. So understanding different demographics of people and how they respond to different types of marketing and different health club locations and different brands and all these things. So I worked in an industry that prepared me, what I feel like, for the worst. You never know what the worst is, but knowing that I faced a lot of what could be big problems on a very low level and got through them, I believe that it prepared me for a better understanding of what it looks like going through a pandemic and owning a business. Because, Clinton, you got to know, I started my business at the height of the pandemic.
I remember,
didn't blink an eye. I'm like, okay, I'm good. I watch this. Watch me go. I don't care what's going on. I have a plan, and I'm just going to execute the plan. And a lot of companies that run a business, the style that I run mine in, they're no longer here, or they're hurting. Vice versa. Some, just like myself, have flourished. What does it mean? It means there's not a problem with the business. It means there's a problem with the business plan, the leadership, and the training within that company. And we don't have that problem. So we've thrived.
Now, do you think that because of your ability to thrive in a situation like that, and you're right, I mean, look, you opened up, at the hardest time, essentially, in America that we've seen in a minute, right? Because like you said, you've been through a couple of recessions. I felt that same pressure, in that industry, and it's interesting that you said, look, we were able to pivot, we were able to move quickly. These other ventures that you did, are they similar business models? Can you take what you were doing and what you've been doing with your general contracting, your roofing, can you apply that to solar? Can you apply that to, the RV industry, right? Sure. In the camper industry? How does that work?
Well, business is business. Leadership's leadership. Sales are sales, and people are people. And so I think the very foundation to a successful company is having a platform in which people that work for you can rhetorically, a platform that they can jump off of.
Yeah.
And it starts with leadership, and it starts with having the right tools.
Yeah.
And so business models, in comparison, construction to solar, they're very similar in how they're run. But you look at solar and construction, you look at a motorhome business, you're like, well, they got nothing to do with each other. Well, they kind of don't, but they kind of do, because again, business is business.
Yeah.
Daily activities and duties and structure are different, but in the end, it's all about having the right tools. It's about having the right brand, the right platform, so that the people involved can grab onto the concept, run with it, and jump off the platform. Because business is business.
Yeah.
I would definitely consider myself a serial entrepreneur. As a matter of fact, I'm on the search for someone to partner with right now to do yet another business that I know that I've done my research on. It's a no lose situation. We will win. And so I just got to find that right person, and I want to be their shark. I need to find this one talent and be their shark. And so to answer your question, there are some similarities, but each are a little different. But in the end, it's about your leadership, and it's about the platform that you build for your people that work in your company.
Yeah, 100%. And I guess for you right now, I guess let's dig a little bit deeper into Vertex a little bit. And I know that you've just, kind of brought that the solar part of the business in, not recently, but kind of, in that sense. What do you find that is different? What's your biggest separator from you and in a lot of the competition out there?
Our people. So here it is. And I say this till I'm blue in the face. A roof's a roof, a solar panel is a solar panel. The difference is the people that work for us and our branding. When I built the company, I decided, hey, I want my name to be unique. I want my logo to be unique and memorable. I want to hire the right people and have standards, and that's what separates us. Because again, I tell customers this straight up. Hey, what separates us from the next roofing company is not the roof. It's not the guys that put the roof on. It's the service that you receive while going through this process with us. We're different. And that's what it is. And it's the same thing with solar. I mean, solar is a little bit more technical in terms of, there is a difference in the brand, the type, the style of the panels, and there is quality differences amongst in the industry. But we're choosing the highest level product in the industry, which is Mission Solar, based out of San Antonio. So we're using an American-made product, made in Texas, and we're in Texas. We service 18 states, but still we use that Texas USA-made product, and I'm very proud of that. So anyway, hopefully that answers your question.
Yeah, it really does, because I think that, when you're talking about what you guys have done, I mean, from an outsider looking in, looking at your product, looking at your service, looking at the differences between you and, let's just face it, you're not the only roofing company out there. You're not the only general contracting. But one thing that I noticed that I know that you have, and we didn't even, I guess, think about talking about this, but I know that you have a keen sense and a keen eye for art. I'm an artist, so I recognize that. I know you've had some phenomenal photos out there of the eclipse when it was going on a while back. I know that you kind of have this keen look, and I noticed that about your brand, that you guys do more than just roofing. You've done these interior remodels that are just like top notch, these exterior remodels, these copper type patio covering with your grill out there. Like, you've done this stylish new artistic look. Can you talk a little bit about that? Why do you bring that in? And is that where the solar part came into effect as well? Or
I like things that look good. I'm a very visual person. I've taken a lot of photos in my life. It's always been one of my hobbies, and it comes and goes. And that started in high school. I get really into it for a while, then I'll back off, and I'll come back into it. But anyway, I'm a very visual person, and I appreciate clean lines. I appreciate symmetry, and that's where our logo comes from. And so, I mean, everything from the marketing to our company until all up into the types of interior remodels that we've done, and the freedom that customers have given us in designing some pergolas and making some color choices on their houses and doing full exterior remodels. It goes with our brand. It's very symmetrical. Here's a great example. I was just at a house today, and this this is a very unique house. It's overly unique. And this house is being built for 8 years. I know it sounds crazy, being built for 8 years, but we were just contracted to finish this house. And, it's about, the house is about 55 to 60% towards completion. And so we're going to finish that last bit. And, one thing I'm really excited about is the working with the owner, right? Because the owner has a very similar taste and style that we prefer, which is unique and clean and interesting. And this is going to be a killer project. And we are actually going to commission someone to photograph and video this entire process, because this house is special. Every house is special to the people that live there, right? But there's those certain special houses that you drive by and you're like, oh my God, look at that thing. Look, look at that house. This is a house that when you drive by, you're like, hey, look at that one. That's one of these. And we're just so excited to do it. It's an opportunity of a lifetime. So, but one of the comments I got from the homeowner, and she's savvy. She's remodeled many houses. She owns multifamily complex. She was, I've looked at your website. I've looked at your pictures. I looked at your Facebook, your Instagram, your BBB, and your Google. And every picture I see that you guys have, I love your work. So that's why you're here today. So anyway.
Wow. And that's fantastic. And anybody, I guess, that would be listening right now in an industry that visual pop needs to happen. When you get your roof done, or you get a paint, you painting or remodeling or anything like that, like the last thing that you want is to settle.
That's right.
For a product, right? Like you don't want to be like, oh, well, it looks better than it did. You want it to be like, fuck, that's awesome. Yeah. Right? Like you want it to be like, God damn, hey, it was expensive, but it doesn't matter. It was worth it. Right? Like, I think that there's that part.
I mean, we've done 6-figure exterior remodels for people. I mean, amazing stuff. And they've handed us the keys to the car and been like, hey, this is the idea. Just do it. Just do it. And it's amazing that we've got those opportunities. So
now, I mean, I guess, when you're looking at things like solar, and when you're looking at things, like a roof to get done, like, what is the process? Your company, do you come in with the drones? Do you jump up on the roof? Is there a team that does that inspects everything? And then how does that work, I guess, for the business owner? I mean, we might as well talk about it now. I've always been curious to that process. How does it work?
Yeah. Well, so I've always worked in fields in which I feel good because I know, let me back up. In order for me to function properly psychologically, I have to work in a field and I have to be doing work that I know that I'm helping people. I worked in the health club industry for a long time because I felt good about it. There's many months and years where I didn't like who I was working for, but liked the purpose. And so I stayed. Yeah. Now I like who I'm working for, which is obviously I create my environment, who I'm working with, better yet. Yeah. And, I feel great about what I'm doing because for most Americans, their home is probably their most valuable asset, right? It's the thing they've spent the most money on, invested the most time in. It's where they become a family. It's where their kids were raised. It's where they create their memories. And so, to me, when I look at someone's roof and I see it's damaged, and I know that if something doesn't change, it's not when it's going to leak. I'm thinking, here's how my head works. I'm thinking, oh man, damaged photos on the wall, damaged heirlooms, damage the couch, buckle the floor.
Everything.
That's not cool. And so, knowing that's my mindset towards it, it's easy for me to, with all conviction, teach my people that work for me and sell and manage my projects for me that it's okay to push someone to do the right thing with their property. Sometimes people need to be told what to do. As a matter of fact, from the word go, from the very day we showed up to kindergarten, we all fell in love with being told what to do because our lives were easier. Well, we really kind of don't change. People still love to be told what to do. I love it when my accountant tells me what to do because I'm not a good accountant. Right. I love it when certain people tell me what to do. Well, exactly. Homeowners, believe it or not, we are learning they love to be told what to do. They don't know anything about the roof. They walk in and out the door every day and they haven't even looked up at the roof. And sometimes, and that's to blow your mind, but years. Yeah. Everything I level, They don't look at the ceiling. They don't look at the roof. They don't look at they look at there's people that we speak to that haven't even walked around their house for years.
Yeah. Oh,
so
I
they
bet.
want to be told what to do. So the beginning of the process is to discover areas and work with people that have damaged properties, whether that be through a time out in the sun and the weather, whether it be through a hailstorm, a windstorm, whatever it is. And we work with these people to, get their property back up to what I would call, a pristine level condition or pre-storm condition, whichever path we're going down. We have a lot of hail. We see a lot of hail, a lot of wind here in Dallas-Fort Worth, and it destroys roofs and destroys gutters and windows and window screens. And so we work with insurance quite a bit to get insurance to, pay for those things. And we do the work for the homeowner. But, my project manager's jobs are to inspect properties, work with homeowners, advocate for the homeowner through insurance, or make estimates to get the customer properties back up to a pristine level condition.
Yeah.
And really, Clinton, that's it. The rest of the process is simple. It's like being a personal trainer, man. It's like, all right, here's our goal. This is where we're at now. This is where we want to go. It's my job to manage these steps in between. Let's go. And that's what we do, and we've created a process that's not bulletproof, because nothing is bulletproof, but we've created a process in which it's very smooth for the customer. All they're doing is picking colors, and making sure that they pay the bill, and we do everything else for them. And that leads to a whole boatload of referrals. At this point in time, 50 to 70% of our business is referral based. So
fantastic. And that's hard to really come by. I mean, a lot of companies and a lot of businesses, even some of my clients, they're constantly running ads, and maybe not exactly what you do. But a lot of my clients are small business owners, and they do other types of service type work, and they run ads. It's not based on referrals, which is weird to me. I've always been like, wait a minute, what? Like, how are you not excited? I mean, my pool guy, I know for a fact that I've sent him business, because anytime anybody says anything on social, I'm like, yeah, you're going to want to talk to this guy. Like, you're going to want to take care of it, because he does a fantastic, job. And he's just somebody that I, really look for excellence out of, and like you said, you demand excellence. Now, let me ask you something. Your past has obviously given you more tools than most people in your industry. Yeah. Do you feel a slight advantage because you're able to kind of navigate through building that rapport with your clients and really fixing their solution? That
my life up to this point has been the ultimate, I guess I want to say, I've been prepared. How about that? I've been put in some of the worst situations that a leader could be put in, and came out unscathed. I've moved across the country. I've literally thrown a suitcase in the back of my truck and loaded my dogs up and gone to another state on a whim. I've been away from home for weeks at a time, flying from one state to the next state, doing whatever it took. And so, I'm blessed to have some of the tools that I have. And when I was acquiring those tools, I kind of hated it, right?
Yeah,
but
sure.
I have found a really deep, how can I say it? I'm very thankful for some of those sessions and periods of my life that I went through that at that point in time, I wasn't sure why they were happening. So I feel like I have an advantage in some areas, but most importantly, and this is what I like and I enjoy to teach my people, is hard work and attitude. That's where it's at, right?
Yeah.
Because it doesn't matter if you're managing a project. It doesn't matter if you're selling a roof or selling a pergola or selling an interior remodel. The more repetitions you take at something, the better you're going to get at it. And so the harder you work at it or on it with the right attitude towards it, the better you're going to get, right? It's like, the best example I can say is, you can't get out of bed one day and say, hey, I'm going to go play in the NBA after you haven't shot a basketball in 6 months. It doesn't work that way. Well, you're not going to be great at business or in sales or at management or in marketing unless you're taking reps, a lot of reps all day, every day. The best people in practically every field in our country right now aren't necessarily the smartest or the most talented. They are the ones that are taking the most reps, the most shots, most
Yeah.
the most repetition is winning right now because
Yep.
things are evolving socially. People are changing. People aren't communicative or don't want to be as communicative as they used to be, and so
Yeah.
it's changing the process of what we do. And if you don't evolve with it, if you don't get better with it, if you don't stay ahead of it, then you're just going to be another person, another company, another group, another leader that is falling below par and working at a level that is unacceptable in my eyes.
Yeah.
Everyone's meant to be great.
Yeah.
Often, I think that a lot of people who are unsuccessful will look at someone highly successful and they'll say, well, they got this gift from God, or they were in the right place at the right time. Okay, so maybe they were in the right place at the right time, but they got to that place because they put themselves in that place because they were out of bed and working or whatever it is. Listen, I don't believe in luck. I don't believe in, I don't believe in any of that stuff. What I believe in is two things: hard work and attitude. Because if you work your butt off and you have a great attitude, your mind's open to learning. You're taking more repetitions, which creates a natural learning occurrence, because the more people tell you no, the more ways you learn to get them to say yes. The more people that tell you yes, the more you realize, okay, I said that to get them to say yes. The more projects you manage, the better you get at moving the project through the process on a smoother level. The more solar panels you put up, the better you get it. Everything in life is repetition. Hey, man, I've worked out for years. Listen, the more reps you do, the stronger the muscle gets.
Yeah, it's just that simple.
It's just
it
that
really
simple.
Is.
And it's funny because, and I get fired up when I talk about the subject, because everyone thinks there's some kind of magic bullet to success in today's world. They think, it must be a rabbit's foot. It must be this. It must be some kind of voodoo. Listen, that's not true. None of that. It couldn't actually be less accurate. There is no diploma, no degree, no last name, no appearance, no nothing that's going to get you anywhere in this world without hard work.
Yep.
And the biggest struggle we have right now is getting people to understand that is it's the cold hard truth.
Yeah.
People, they've seen some of their friends become rich off Instagram. Well, that's 1 in 2 million or 1 in 3 million. They've seen this guy develop an app and boom, he hit it off. Well, that's one person.
Right.
Everybody else, read about the average successful person in America, which what I would consider a millionaire, right?
Yeah.
All those people are people that just work in some type of industry and they're at the top of their industry.
Yeah. Well, and I think that they just actually, and I don't know who put this article out, that there was now like 233 million millionaires. At a list of some of the things that they do in their life. And
that's right.
There were such idiotic common things like, they bust their ass, like they work, like they don't sit around on social media. They don't watch a bunch of TV. Why? Because they're working. They're out there, like you just said, buddy, grinding. And I like what you said about reps, because I think personally that there's some people out there that took some shortcuts. I'll give you an example. Businesses, it's real easy to pay a bunch of money to Google and Facebook and even TikTok now and spend all this money to generate views, to then try to get them into the sales funnel, to get them to go throughout the process. And look, I'm all about different ways to fill the pipeline. But you're right, reps, without those people going through and understanding what those ideal clients are or who those qualified clients are, they're never, ever going to know, what works or what doesn't. Right. And I think that you're right. Now, I know where this came from in your life, but a lot of people might not know kind of where this mentality and where this drive came from. I guess let's go back to the beginning. I mean, did you grow up with this instilled from your family? Were you born with this type of attitude that just, created this? Where did you come from? For those of you that may not know.
So it's interesting because I would say that in a lot of ways I carry characteristics of my mother and father and my grandma, my grandpa, my uncle. There are some people that I definitely carry their characteristics. However, my risk taking and my absolute refusal to bow down or fail, that's something that was a gift, right? Because that's internal. And I
Yes.
always say there's a certain feeling that I have in my stomach that is connected to my brain and my heart that forces me out of bed every day between 4:30 and 6:30 in the morning. And I was at this office last night until 9 o'clock. It forces me. It's not controllable for me, and it goes back to my childhood. So I'll rewind a little bit. So, I didn't have the ultimate childhood. My family, I didn't come from any money at all. It wasn't a terrible childhood. I had a great family around me, so I enjoyed that part of it. And I grew up in a small town, and I was able to run free and really just have the best group of friends you could ask for. But during that time period, there was a thing amongst my group of friends, and we were tough. Like, we were tough kids. You know what I mean? Like, we played football, we played basketball, we rode BMX bikes, we had big old boxing gloves, and we would hit each other. And I got to tell you, I won a lot. You know what I mean? I won a lot, and it wasn't because I was like the most skilled. It was because, listen, no matter what it is, I always say, if I'm doing something, if I've set my mind to it, you are going to have to kill me to get me to stop pursuing success in that category. Done. I got to be dead. Now, when I'm done with something, I'm done. Like, when I'm done with it, I move on to the next thing. But until that point, and it does relate to my childhood, the first thing I could say that is a very clear indicator of it is, when I was a kid, 12 or 13 years old, often, my friends would be out goofing off, and I found a love with moving heavy things and becoming strong. And I don't know why. It was just a thing. And I was always not the tallest kid, but definitely, without doubt, without question, much stronger than everyone my age, and most of the time stronger than other kids that were 3-4 years older than me. And the proof's in the pudding, right? And we had this little gym at the YMCA, and I was 12, 13, 14 years old, and there, I was in junior high, and there was high school kids there, and I was out lifting them. You know what I mean? Yep. And so it was just, man, it's a competitive nature that I have that I almost I can't necessarily completely put my thumb on it or pinpoint where it came from, but it's there, man. And I think I'll die that way. You know what I mean? I think I literally think I'll die trying to compete at anything in my life. And most of the time now, it's just how I am. You know what I mean? And it's what keeps me going. And there's two things that keep me going every day. That I can't explain, a burning desire just to kick ass at whatever I do. The next thing is I love people. I enjoy people. And, I enjoy being around smart people. I enjoy being around people who want to improve their life and do better. And my mission in life, through building my companies, my number one goal was not to make a bunch of money. My number one goal was, hey, I want to surround myself by some really good people and allow them to earn more money than they've ever earned before. You know what I'm saying? That was the whole goal. Hey, build a company that's ran honestly, ethically, and you know what? Bring people in that I can help change their life. So that's what really keeps me going, man. I want to win, and I want to help other people win. And and because of that, it's my biggest weakness. I struggle getting along with people who don't want that. I don't do well.
Not you, buddy.
Dude, yeah. I don't get along with people who want to suck.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's my biggest weakness, because it becomes, and I have to watch myself, because I can make myself unrelatable. Yeah. So I have to watch myself. And I know you know what I mean.
Yeah. And I guess, where does the need for speed come from? Because, and here, and look, I've always known you as somebody that's raced. I've always kind of known that about you, but not very many people have that are not into racing, right? Yeah. Like, there's a very unique crowd that is involved in what you do. So can you explain that part right now? Because that's pretty exciting as well, because it still has to do with people and helping people, but you're doing it in such a different way. But talk to us about that.
Yeah. So, I grew up in an automotive family, like a hobby automotive family. So, my grandfather, and that would be my mother's dad, he's a hot rod guy. He has all these hot rods and, 34, 33 Fords and, 50 Mercuries and Cushman scooters and all this stuff. So he was a guy that like was always building street cars. And then on the other side of my family, which was my Uncle Reggie, my Uncle Dick, and my dad, they're really into fast cars, right? Like muscle cars and drag racing cars and that kind of thing. So I was kind of, I had it from both sides of the family, and, I've always been a guy that enjoys extreme things in a controlled environment, right? Such as powerlifting, such as Scottish Highland Games, such as drag racing. And so, I competed in all those years with powerlifting, and I was ahead of my time, and I was competing against guys 3 to 5 years older than me. And what happened was in my mid-20s, what I started to see is those guys that were 29 and 30 and 31, I started to see their bodies go like completely, their bodies were not having it. And I'm like, I'm smarter than this. So I'm going to quit while I'm on top and before my body's destroyed. And that's what I did. And I can't make this up. It was almost simultaneous. The very moment that I said, I'm done on the platform, I want to stay strong. I want to stay in the gym for my whole life, but I can't compete at this level anymore. So I'm going to stop doing that, and I'm going to go buy a race car, right? And who does that? Like, I'm the only guy that I know of in the whole world.
No, tell everybody what a real race car is, though, because we're not talking about just a nice V8 that has a good, quarter mile. You're talking about the real race cars.
Yeah, my first race car was a double B fuel altered and 2,500 horsepower. 7 seconds, 200 miles an hour and a quarter mile. That was my first race car. You know what I mean? But that's who I am. I'm not going to do anything and just kind of do it. And then I graduated on from there, driving other people's cars until I got the level I'm at. But, you ask why, and I guess, I tell a long story to get to the point why, because in the end, there's there's 3 parts of it I enjoy. Number one is the memories and the people that are involved in that sport kick ass.
Yeah.
It's a culture that you can't explain unless you're involved in it. It's so unique. There's so many characters. There's so many great people, so I love that part of it. The second thing is the challenge of winning, right? And number 1 and number 2 could be tied, right? I don't know how I could put them on a scale and weigh them and make one more important than the other. Winning. I like to win, or at least like to compete. Does that make sense? I love competition. And then the third thing is, man, what is cooler than going from 0 to 300 miles an hour in 3 seconds?
Unreal.
Nothing. So I wish there was something cooler, because it may cost me less money. You get it?
Right.
So there's nothing cooler, man. It's the coolest thing it's the most American thing in the world. Think about this, right? Name one other sport besides drag racing created in America.
Yeah.
Go. There isn't one.
Yeah.
The only sport that I know of I've had this conversation with people, all other motorsports, ball sports, any sport that I know of was founded somewhere else. And then an abbreviation of it or the actual sport was brought to our culture. Drag racing was founded in California.
Yeah.
It's as American as it gets. And I love America. Everything I own's got an American flag on it. Everything from my race car, my crew, everything I own has an American flag on it. My truck wrap on my truck for Vertex has an American flag on it. I love America. So, man, that's why I do it. You know what I mean? It's cool, man. It's the coolest thing on the earth.
What's the fastest that you've ever gone?
314. I've been 314.
Holy smoke. In how many seconds?
384. So I went from
less than 4 seconds.
Less than 4 seconds, 314 miles an hour. It's pulling like 6 G's.
6 G's. I was just going to ask about that. You know, just watching Tom Cruise and watching all the documentaries on, on how he did, Maverick and whatnot. Man, that's, what's that like? Because that's not normal. I mean, that's not driving in your vehicle or even experiencing that in a lot of flights, people don't experience.
Well, so So Clinton, keep this in mind. A fighter jet sees more G-force, but it's a either negative G-force or a lateral G-force. A top fuel dragster is the fastest accelerating vehicle on this entire earth, whether that be on land or in air. So nothing creates that G-force besides that top fuel dragster. So, a F-16 fighter pilot, or a fighter jet, just for example, will produce anywhere from like 3.5 to 4.5 positive G's at wide open throttle from takeoff. Well, we're seeing six to 7 G's. So,
and that's put you back in the seat, is what you're talking. That G force right there, when you're talking it's positive G force, right?
It's more than that. I mean,
I know, but yeah.
I've made enough runs where now I'm very aware of what's going on. You can physically feel your cheeks moving. Like your cheeks are the skin and the meat on your face are being pulled back.
Now, do people, I mean, obviously you're, always taking care of yourself and whatnot. That's not, a job for the weak. No. Not anybody can get in one of those cars and really take it down the road. Not only can they not handle that type of G-force, but they can't really handle the vehicle itself, correct?
Yeah. Man, there's a lot to it, I mean, everyone sees it on TV. Oh, it's going in a straight line. That must be easy. No, it's actually, it's not going in a straight line.
Right.
The car is constantly hunting around because it's searching for traction.
Yep.
And when your car is 11,000 horsepower and the track's 110 degrees and you got all these different things going on.
Yeah.
At any given moment, I mean, I'm doing this with the steering wheel. It's not this, it's this, and it's all reactionary. It's not, okay, the car is going left, so I got to go right. No. It's by the quote unquote the seat of the pants, and you have to be extremely aware. If you're not aware and you don't have, how could I say it? You don't have a natural ability to understand where you are physically on the racetrack, you will not make it down the racetrack. I mean, it happens so fast. I mean, think about it like this. At 60 feet, so from where you're sitting, 60 feet ahead, I'm running between 100 and 110 miles an hour. So you don't have time to think about steering your race car. Right. You're steering it based upon how it feels. It's all reactionary based.
Yep.
So you got to be an athlete, man. You got to be an athlete. You got to be in shape. I mean, it ain't no joke. I mean, it's really a sport. When you watch us on TV, then you see us pop out of the car and we're breathing hard. You're like, why are they breathing hard? Well, our lungs just got deflated. You know what I mean? I mean, all that G-force is not allowing you to breathe for a moment.
Yeah.
And it's hard on your body. I mean, your body's seeing, it's being brutalized for 4 seconds, right? It's hard on your body. So when you get out, you're out of breath.
Yeah. Now let me ask you, I mean, just, and I mean, this is just kind of for shits and giggles, but, I got to believe that racing, you've been able to kind of use some analogies with being able to race like you do, like as a professional, like like you're a pro, like you're not just, pissing around on the weekends, like you're going and you're winning competitions and you're competing against the best in the world.
That's right. In the whole world. Yeah.
How do you use what you learned there in business or even in your personal life for that matter? There's got to be a connection.
It's all connected. And when I say it's all connected, it doesn't matter what I do. The number one most important thing is people.
Yeah.
So a race car, the race car itself, that's just the thing. It's the people involved that make the thing the thing. It's right. And in your business, it's not the business, it's the people in your business that make your business. So, and in your personal life, your circle, your inner circle, your top 5 to 10 people that you surround yourself by, that's your life. So it doesn't matter if it's
yeah,
that's your pit crew, right? It's the same thing. And listen, Clinton, I'm just getting started. This whole racing thing, I'm telling you, I'm on a mission. I will not stop until I am winning often. I will, and even then I don't plan it. But we've got ourselves in a spot with racing. We are in a good place, and I will never, ever, ever give up until my name is in the history books as a winning drag racer at the professional level, not at the amateur level. whatever it takes is exactly what we're going to do. And it takes time. I mean, you got to know it took me 15 years to become a professional.
Yeah.
It may take me 15 years to become one of the most notable. I hope to be. That's my goal. If it wasn't my goal, I should quit now. A notable professional drag racer. It may
Yeah.
take another 15 years. I don't care. I
Yeah.
won't quit. I stay in shape. I'm driven. I ain't stopping anytime soon. I'm still young, man. I'm
Yeah.
41 years old. There's a
Yeah.
lot of green left. I
Yeah.
ain't quitting.
Oh,
You know what I
yeah.
mean?
Wow.
You know, I want to be everyone's biggest nightmare, but their friend at the same time. I have no enemies out there.
Yeah.
You know, I'm a gentleman at the starting line. I'm a gentleman to people in the pits. You need to borrow something? Come get it. You thirsty? Come get a drink. You need to be in the shade? Come over here. Whatever you need. I'm always a gentleman. I'm always a great competitor. I've always prided myself on being that guy. You
Yeah.
need something? You're my competition. Listen, I'll help you before I'll handicap you.
Exactly.
But at the same time, I'm a fierce competitor. When it's my
You're there to win.
turn,
Yeah.
I'm there to win. I'm not showing up to put myself in a spot of just qualifying or just getting down the racetrack. No, man. We show up with really good equipment. We show up with the right people, and we're there to win.
Yeah.
That's the mindset. Because if you don't have that mindset, then just stay home. Don't come.
Yeah. Yeah.
Stay home.
Don't even
go
don't
do
even
something
show
else.
up. Now, you said something that was interesting about people, and who you surround yourself with. I know that, your family's been following you along, with your competition, especially with racing. Are they still helping you out? I mean, is your dad and the team still able to help you out with this?
So they've gotten to an age where they're not physically capable of helping much anymore, but they're always around. So, we have a unique pit area. I will say that if you come to my pit area, you're going to find that, at least 3 or 4 of my family members are going to be there. They're going to be hanging out. They're going to be making sure everyone's happy. We have a full-time chef on my team that kind of just cooks all day and makes sure that everyone on the team is fed with good food. And yeah, so we really kind of have like a family type environment, and my blood family too. I mean, I couldn't have got where I've gotten without them.
Yeah.
I'm different in a fashion in which I always wanted more than they wanted, but I couldn't be where I'm at if it weren't for their help at the very beginning.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. But
Exactly.
time worked against them. You know what I mean? They don't have the physical ability due to age to physically put their hands on my race car anymore. It's a young man's game. I mean, my average crew member is probably 28 years old, 30,
exactly.
somewhere in that range. It's a young man's game. So,
well, I just remember following you throughout the years and seeing your dad, and kind of the crew in there with your other racing, that you did, prior to you becoming a pro. So
yeah,
that's fantastic. Well,
they're around, man. They're always hanging out, dude. You come to my pit area, you're gonna see them. They're all if they're not all there, half of them are there.
Right, exactly. Well, that's fantastic. Especially with the support. And
kicks ass.
Well, and I know that a lot of what you're doing, with your brand awareness, with incorporating, the racing with your company, and I mean, you're just and even the RV part of everything. I mean, you have your company on there with the billboards and everything. For somebody like you that, you're successful in multiple areas right now, I guess kind of a twofold question. We have listeners that are definitely entrepreneurs, they're definitely coming up, or, they own businesses, they run businesses. But then we have people that aren't, and they're working maybe on something else in their life, and whether that's hobbies or anything like that. What advice would you have for these people that are listening right now that helped you, I guess, get where you're at and help you, I guess, in the future as well?
First step is remove anyone in your life that's not your biggest fan. Remove everybody in your life that's negative. Get rid of them. Sometimes that has to be, unfortunately, it has to be family. You cannot be successful surrounded by the wrong people.
Yeah.
Get rid of them. You're better off alone than be surrounded by the wrong people. That's the number one most important advice I can give to anybody. The second thing is you got to find something you're passionate about, light yourself on fire.
Yeah.
Pursue it until your hands and your feet bleed, until your jaw locks up because you can't talk about it no more.
Right.
If those are the only two things that anyone needs to do to be successful, man. If you want to become a millionaire selling snow cones, you know you can do it, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You could,
especially right now with how hot it is in Texas.
Oh, shit. Man, you could become a millionaire in a day in Texas right now. You kidding me? It's 110 degrees today. But listen, anything in this world that is sellable, whether it's a service or a product, if you are passionate about it and you're surrounded by the right people and you go after it, you can be the most successful person in that category, you know? And that's my advice. Get rid of all the bad people in your life. And unfortunately, sometimes, and I got to tell you, I've given some advice to some people over the years, and I can't think of one person I haven't given that advice to that actually hadn't had to cut out a family member. Almost every person that's came to me in my life and said, buddy, I'm ready to change. I've gave them those two pieces of advice, and almost every one of them have had to disconnect themselves from a family member. Not completely, but remove their daily, weekly, and sometimes even monthly communications with them because they're just vacuuming. Just vacuuming the absolute drive right out of their heart, and they got to go.
Yeah. Well, and you're right. I mean, you know, you are who you surround yourself with. You know, you do become that. And it just, you know, look, man, I got to tell you, I mean, we're kind of running out of time here, but you know, I'm super proud of you, man. And tons of us, you know, in our community, right? Like, you know, people that we know and we have mutual friends and acquaintances and whatnot. Everybody's proud of you, man.
I appreciate
You're doing such an awesome job and great advice. I think that it is so interesting to hear that from great success because you don't hear the truth. Like, look,
no, everyone's full of shit.
You're right.
Everyone wants to, we'll do this. And no.
Right.
None of it's true, man. Everyone's selling something these days.
Yeah.
Listen, here's the sell of the decade. Get rid of the bad people in your life. Find something you love. Pursue it.
Yep.
Never give up.
100%. 100%.
And those people, so keep in mind, and this is where people like you come in, right? There are people who need daily guidance to stay on.
Yep. Uh-oh.
There are people that need daily, weekly, sometimes monthly guidance to stay on that path, Clinton. You know what I mean? Not everyone has that innate ability. And that's where people like you and your business are helping build or helping people build themselves to build their business, because there are so many people stuck in corporate America that are completely untapped because they're beat down by corporate bill and they think that that's all they're going to have and that's all they're going to do. They are so scared to leave. It's stupid. They're scared to death. Oh, I'm going to lose my health insurance. Who cares? Who cares if you lose your health? Are you unhealthy? Are you sick? Who cares?
Not to mention it's not that expensive, right? Like it's not
really $400 or $500. I don't even know. It just comes out of my account. I don't even care. Doesn't matter. If you hate your life, why do you need health insurance? You know what I'm saying? And that's where I appreciate what you're doing, and I'm proud of you, right? Because there needs. I can't be you, right? I have myself involved and enveloped in businesses that are functioning. I can't be you. I can't talk to people. I can't constantly motivate people from the outside. But so I would say I turn it around on you, and I know it's your show, but I'm proud of you because without people in your business getting people like me out there and letting people hear the truth, because I got to tell you, and I haven't listened to all your podcasts, but I've listened to some of them, and I'm not going to talk bad about anybody, but some people haven't told the truth. Listen, they're not telling the truth of what they really do or what it really takes because they're afraid to give people the truth. They're afraid, or they don't want to downgrade themselves. When I tell people that nothing I do is special and that I'm not special and that I just work hard, some of them don't want to believe it because it's the truth.
Right, right. They want the magic bullet, like you said.
There's no
They
magic
want,
bullet, man.
right.
There isn't one. So
Yep.
so anyway, I could go on and on about this stuff forever, but man, thank you for what you do.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I do definitely appreciate that, buddy. I really do, especially coming from, somebody that, has had great success and will continue to have great success. I'm so happy for you and everybody that I've talked to, you and that have messaged me when they saw that you were coming on the show. They're like, "Oh my God, buddy's kicking fucking ass." And I'm like, "Yeah, of course he is, of course, but great advice as well, man. I think it's real good advice." Now, I know that I have this scrolling, kind of on the bottom of the sheet here, but, is this where everybody can find you? I know on social, on Twitter, IG, TikTok, it's pretty much all the same. Buddy Hall 323 TF, right?
Yes, sir. Yep.
And then Buddy Hall Racing on Facebook, and then Vertex.com, right?
Vertex, VertexRoofers.com. Yep.
Awesome, man. Awesome, dude. I can't wait to see what you're going to be up to next. I can't wait. It's not going to take 15 years for you to make it to the top.
Whatever it takes.
I know that, but you'll be on to your next adventure. Probably have 4 or 5 other businesses by the time that rolls out. And
I'm definitely an entrepreneur by
and you'll be crushing it.
I can't hold myself back. Man, I tried to open a pizza place and the area I opened it doesn't. Can you believe this? I had everything figured out, man. Recipes, all of it. And the area I wanted to open it was very specific. And can you believe that they don't have natural gas in the area, so I couldn't cook the pizzas? But anyway, it's another story. Yeah.
Well, listen, we'll have to have you. We'll have to have you back on another episode
anytime.
We're definitely working on some future episodes. They're gonna have different topics, different types of industries that are going to be on. I'm going to have you stick around just for a couple of minutes as we let everybody else go on the live show. Everybody that's listening, look, follow Buddy. Follow his adventure, follow not only his company, but his racing as well. Become a fan. The more that I've been following Buddy and Top Fuel, I've been kind of seeing some cool stuff and some great videos, great content. As always, we're here to provoke positive change. So hopefully somebody hears this somewhere, sometime, and they will definitely take action and get a little bit provoke some thought and get them moving in the right direction. We'll talk to you all soon.